Woohoo! MGS logo. Little Steve Vai. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Jason Jones.
I didn't hear what you said, Marty. What was that? Hey, everybody. Welcome to the farce that is the Halo 2 developers commentary. I'm Jason Jones. I'm here with Joe Staten, Director of Cinematics, and Marty O'Donnell. What did Marty do, Joe?
I know he wrote something. The music.
The music. Some of the music. And we're going to talk about our favorite game that we've ever developed, Halo 2.
And here.
Only one ship.
Yes.
Mellifluous tones.
Are you sure?
Some new actors. Wow.
Hold it, a pillar of autumn.
David Keith.
Keith David, yes.
Keith David. David Keith.
Now, if you were watching before the Halo 1 stuff, it's just amazing the instant increase in graphic fidelity between these two things.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Actual crossfades in Halo 2, I have to say.
Blinded?
Paralyzed, dumbstruck.
Crossfades were.
Yet the humans
Did you-
were able to evade.
Did you make it so things don't freeze anymore, Joe?
Well, yes, this is what's known as the
Director's cut.
remastering of the Halo 2 cinematics. Because if you actually played Halo 2, you might have noticed that there were some graphic glitches, some popping textures, some depth of field that wasn't quite in there. So what I thought I would do, you know, and then I know you audio guys went back and did a little bit too, is really go and create the cinematics the way that we really wanted them to look. But it's all still an engine, all still playing back from the engine.
I saw you in After Effects at least once.
Shh. This is called the developer diary, not the cheater's confessional.
The council demands it.
You are one of our most treasured instruments. Long have you led your fleet with honor and
I love it.
Truth.
your inability
Wait, here comes a good line.
Halo.
Here it
Was a
comes.
colossal failure.
Nay, it was heresy.
Bob O'Donnell, ladies and gentlemen.
Marty's dad.
Yes.
Pretty much consistently
Cameo appear.
sneak him into every single
I
game.
will continue my campaign.
Also known as the
against
Surly
the
Dwarf
humans.
from Myth. And he was the prophet of denial. No, what are we calling him? Prophet of something.
Soon the great
Yeah, well, we
journey
do that.
begins.
Good stuff. And one of the bugs that I could never fix in Halo 2, and I still couldn't fix it right there, bang, Arbiter's helmet pops every single time, and I could never figure that out.
Even in After Effects?
Even at That's it, I'm going back and fixing it.
It is nice to see all these cinematics without any popping at all.
Well, I mean, so what was that all about, Jones? The popping that we ship with?
Cairo. I was just in Cairo last month.
Totally fried.
Weak ass code.
But I mean, it was a hardware problem too, right?
It was because we landed the plane in like an 89-degree power dive.
On fire.
Yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
I guess it was all obsolete anyway. Your new suit's a Mark 6.
But I mean, I remember that
Try and take it easy
distinctly
until you
just
get used to the
being
upgrades.
heartbreaking for everybody on the team when when we realized it was just too late.
Silly
It
hole.
wasn't that time to put that polish on the game.
Don't worry.
And that was pretty heartbreaking for everybody.
Yeah, that was pretty.
Here we go.
You're gonna tell me how you made it back home in one piece.
How did he?
It's classified.
Classified.
My
That's
ass.
good writing.
Well, you can
Thank
forget
you.
about
Oh,
those
wait.
adjustments to your A2 scope.
There's a grand tradition in Halo games of never really explaining how we get from one to the other. Almost, but not really, like we hadn't actually planned to make the next one.
What?
I mean, we always do. I'm just saying it's like we hadn't really planned it.
I remember when we were doing the Cortana letters
Yes.
years ago, where we had the entire plan from the beginning of the Cortana letters to the end of the trilogy.
The
I
end of
remember that
Halo
whole
3.
story arc, yeah.
Right. I think we might have lost that plan.
The Athens and the Malta, nothing's getting past this battle cluster in one piece.
Okay, let's look at it.
Ships have been arriving all morning.
Marty, that's some nice martial
I'll bet something big.
stuff.
All the arm pumping repeat animation.
Yes.
He is extremely excited to see the Master Chief. Now, there was no addition of any post effects in this scene.
I don't remember seeing flashes like that in the game. What happened here?
There were flashes in the game, but one of the things that we had to cut, unfortunately, from the final version was a lot of the effects work. So all the flags were in there, all the scripting was in there, but we just couldn't. We
You just
couldn't
brought
make
it back.
happen
Okay, that's good. For historical
for
record.
historical purposes. Little grunt standing on top of the thing, extremely happy bystander.
That's my favorite line
Heretic.
in this entire cutscene.
The brutes.
The Arbiter, he takes his punishment like a man. Look at him.
Drawn quite a crowd. If they came to hear me
Good old
beg,
Tartarus.
they will be disappointed. Are you sure?
Boy, these voices, amazing.
Put a little depth of field in. Sure, why not?
Ouch.
I mean, one of the challenging things, I mean, you see how quickly the timing of this hasn't changed, but swapping back and forth between these environments, I mean, all Halo cinematics are in real time, right? So you got to be running the stuff and loading textures and all that sort of thing, and we just couldn't quite do it. And the white flashes that you see in the game are actually hiding some stuff behind the scenes. So yeah, went back, took out some of the white flashes.
Nice.
Thank you.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah.
Little comedy.
Comedy. And that was cool because we had two voices saying something at the same exact time, which was not easy for us to do.
There can be no
Was
in the cinematics.
It's true.
Let him be an example for all who would
See, the grunt wasn't quite tall enough. He had to stand on the other guy's shoulder.
Got it.
There was an idea at one point to have little engineers, the character that we never put in the Halo games, sort of floating gas bag character, float by on Legendary with a little ballpark tray of wieners and caramel corn and cotton candy.
Next time we'll leave a month for the Easter eggs.
Yeah, we really should.
Well, hey, Jason, how did the skulls
There she blinks.
come in at the end?
The only time that she blinked ever.
Did the skulls come in at the last minute, or were you always planning on doing
It
skulls?
actually came in after the last minute.
I forget who modeled this, but I didn't quite realize how big and fiery that effect was going to be. But I love how the Arbiter sits here and takes that huge burning
He can take it, baby.
thing. He's tough. The Arbiter is tough.
Space ruptures directly off our battle cluster.
Show me.
15 Covenant capital ships
Cortana
holding
looks slightly
positions
different than she
outside
did
the
in
kill zone.
Halo 1. What happened there?
Cortana changes her appearance. A girl's got to stay
Perimeter around the cluster.
Ron
stay
Perlman?
fashion forward.
Link up with the fleet.
Yes, sir.
You have the mech gun, Cortana. As soon as they come in range.
Oh, he almost said Cortana.
Gladly.
Something's not right.
Ooh.
The fleet that destroyed Reach was 50 times this.
What's on the back of his head?
Well, just like Captain Keys in the first game,
Yes.
he too has a neural interlace, just in case someone needs to punch him in the head and take his coat.
Yes, sir. I need a weapon.
I need a weapon. Once again, great line.
Again, if you did watch the first part of the Halo 1 cinematics, there were no playback animations and very little AI work in the Halo 2 cinematics. It was almost entirely, well, 99%, I'd say, custom animated, keyframe animated, which was a big change, for us from Halo 1 to Halo 2.
Hey, you know, it looks like the gameplay section of this particular sequence is edited and scored and all sorts of things are happening. What's going on here?
Marty.
Yeah, that's all
I
right.
think what we were trying to achieve was a more full representation of the game.
Okay, all right. Which meant more work for me.
Hey, check it out. The Malta's already driven up its board.
The Aussie. Oh, here's the scene that no one actually ever saw. That's why we're showing you right now.
This is bad. Real bad.
Well, it's a real challenge in Halo games because we do have this cinematic storytelling. We put a lot of our storytelling in the cinematics to get people to pay attention.
To anything except a grunt.
Right.
Looks like there were more ships in the sky than I remember.
Particles was one of those things that was a real challenge for put a lot of them on screen.
Stuck grunt.
I was almost on board when they showed up.
Don't worry, man.
Wow.
Miranda's little hat.
This is cut like an MTV thing. What? This is quick. I can hardly follow it.
Oh, just let it go.
I remember hearing you guys bicker about this.
Boom!
Oh, see?
super
The carrier that no one ever sees. There it is. Beautiful. I like
I
that.
think no one ever saw it, Marty, because you never attached a sound to it.
That's because I never saw it.
Me, inside your head, now.
Now,
Oh, the pickle.
Jason, do you remember why we put the Covenant Space Pickle in Halo 2?
Okay, Jason, explain this
I
one.
just remember you were supposed to hitch it to the back of a Jeep and drive it.
That's right, I forgot about that.
You were supposed to drive it all the way across the ship. That would have been awesome.
That would have been awesome.
The Warthog, the original space station, right, it was supposed to be a zero-G training facility where there was a big open environment with warthogs and all that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And you were supposed to put the bomb in the back of a little trailer, right, that attached to the Warthog, and then drive it through the human space station.
That would have been fun.
That would have been good times.
That would have been awesome.
But the reason why we have the bomb,
I know what you're thinking.
Boy, that
And
looked
it's
fast.
crazy.
Well, that,
because the
Unfortunately for us
original
both,
plan was to have a
I'm not
level after this one
Oh, yeah.
called Covenant Ship.
Covenant ship.
And the Master Chief, much like he did in the announcement trailer for Halo 2, there was no bomb. He would just man up, pop the airlock, bam, land on the Covenant ship, tear it apart from the inside.
Right. But instead, you did probably one of the most amazingly ridiculous cutscenes in the history of
one
games.
question.
Well, I figure if you're gonna cut a level, this is the way to cut it.
I won't.
By creating just as much work.
Based on this cinematic alone.
No, you just add a giant Covenant space pickle. Gunk.
So somehow, the airlock
Yeah.
depressurization shoots the pickle
Yep.
perfectly towards the Covenant ship.
That's right.
The Chief's good.
And then who exactly, while he's
He's
floating through the air,
steering- he's
who
steering the pickle.
blasts this open for him?
The bombers come in, don't you see? It's all, see, here they come.
Is somebody telling them to do that? Like Cortana, maybe?
Let's just say that Cortana,
Okay.
she talks to other people while
Okay.
you're doing stuff.
And the music is too loud for us to hear that, which
That's
is good.
right. I think
Okay.
the music is definitely too loud.
Wow, the Covenant ship level was going to be awesome.
You were going to go in there and
Eventually steal a Wraith and end
Wow.
up shelling like the power core of the Covenant ship.
that's right. And it was one of the missions where Miranda played a big part too.
Here's what I love.
Yeah.
His legs themselves propel him enough out of here, and then he knew that the explosion would then also shoot him in exactly the right direction.
It's almost like Marty thinks we're not making epic sci-fi space opera.
For a brick, he flew pretty good.
And that's it.
Get
Comedy
inside,
always
gear up.
distracts. That's good.
Taking this fight to the surface.
But yeah, Miranda, I mean, unfortunately, she really had her big introduction in the Covenant ship level,
Yeah.
where she was inside the ship, you know, running around with her ODSTs for a little bit too.
Oh yeah.
Dear humanity, we regret being alien bastards. We regret coming to Earth.
Oh,
And we most definitely regret the core just blew up our raggedy ass.
Now these two cinematics in a row. It's interesting. They both represent two different the announcement trailer for Halo 2 was sort of what we just did, and now this is very similar to the E3 trailer.
Right?
Interesting, and we got it in the game anyway. Yeah.
Some of the same elements.
Your call, Sergeant.
But, I mean, the one thing we didn't have in the E3 trailer, right, was the huge, giant Covenant walking tank.
That's right. Or the pickle.
Or the pickle, that's true.
I remember how many times that guy missed his gun with that clip.
Little sync problem.
That was like 3 months. And
Whoa.
Here it comes.
Ah, there it is. What is that, ladies and gentlemen? This should have been a surprise to all the fans.
Giant Covenant walking tank. A Halo 1 idea executed in Halo 2.
Hey,
It's good stuff.
wake up.
And Jen, you remember that in the recording studio?
Yes.
We said, hey, Jen, could you just, and she grabbed the lamp that was lighting up her script and just tuck, 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 gave it a little tap. Oh! Marty, you're a huge jerk. Killing that poor little guy.
Right.
Jones, walk us through this encounter.
If they didn't know we're here before.
there's some bad guys, you shoot them. It's really fun. The best part is the snipers. The big argument about whether the sniper should kill you in one shot or not on Legendary.
Bugger, heading over the rooftops.
Little buggers. Hey, you know what you should be able to do? You should be able to hit the B button and take that turret off its stand.
That would be cool.
Awesome.
Why do we call them drones, not buggers? Oh, that's right, because bugger means something else in different places around the world.
Our guys are still calling them buggers. It's about 50-50. Oh,
There's
the
always that
hunters,
point in the Halo game, right, where you got to introduce the hunters.
and they have that special sweet spot in the back.
It's their area.
Their special area.
I don't like to be shot in their area.
Oh, look at that. That was nice. A little lip sync.
There was a great deal of combat dialogue in Halo 2, Marty. You might not remember this.
Yes, 20,000 lines. I do remember it.
Cut the chatter. We got trouble.
Oh my gosh, Tyson and I worked on level so long. Snipers are like bacon, they make anything better.
Wait, even on Legendary when they shoot you with one shot?
Yep.
And the Covenant, the Elite Landing Pods was one of those things that we just didn't, which was so cool in that trailer, where we didn't quite have time to well, put them everywhere if I had my druthers. Have them slamming down all around you.
Did you get them slamming in here? You
That's
should.
Yep.
Oh, you didn't.
I'm sorry, I
Little
was
bit.
watching the rocket launcher blow up the ghost. I didn't hear anything you guys said.
Yes, because that was cool. Oh,
Big
I've been
jerk.
analyzing the Covenant tactical chatter.
Also, something nobody saw.
Confused. I don't think they expected us to be here. Not you and me. All of us.
Well, it's really hard to get people to look at the giant hole in the ceiling when you put them in a vehicle that's moving 1,000 miles per hour and enemies in front of them. Not impossible.
oh, wow! You
more-
blew through that tunnel fast.
It was a longish tunnel. Mr. David Cross, ladies and gentlemen.
Right through us.
Michelle Rodriguez,
50 cal rockets didn't do a thing.
great voice. Come on, David. Oh, here comes Scully.
Of course. Scully's always bringing you good stuff.
Look at it. Oh, well, there's some depth of field I'm not remembering.
You gotta put her back in.
Wasted, Sarge.
And we will be too, sir, if we don't get the hell out of here.
You hit Marine.
No, sir.
Then listen up.
That's David Cross acting.
Chief is gonna jump
That's
in the
amazing.
tank, roll across
Well, one of the
bridge,
things
and
that
blow up any
we always do in a Halo game is have a little bit of legendary on different difficulty levels. If you play on different difficulty levels,
Yes.
you'll get something a little bit different, a little bit of different dialogue. So if someone's listening to this commentary and doesn't know that yet, this is one of those cinematics. If you start this level on different difficulty levels, Johnson, he says different things.
Oh, wait, here we go.
Oh, I know what the ladies like.
Now, you have been criticized for that line, Joe. I don't know if you realize that. I think
have.
it's one of the best lines ever. But there are some people who think it's a little on the sort of cheesy side.
When have I ever written a cheesy line of dialogue?
I don't know. I wouldn't call it cheesy at all.
I think that line's brilliant.
You know, I think that line really, Marty.
Yes.
I think what it is it's really one of those really truthful lines that I really channeled from personal experience. my wife's not listening to this.
Did you get any Laura Prep on?
Now, at one point, that part of the level was filled with water, wasn't it?
That's true.
There was some water, yeah. At least
You
one of those
here.
areas.
Jones and his anti-water ways. You used to like water so much, man, in Marathon. What happened?
Yeah, water's in one spot in the game, like 20 square feet of water, and it doesn't work in the last 2 weeks. It's one of the things that doesn't get fixed, sadly enough.
Man, I didn't even want to think about all the fun bugs that was involved with this, all the months where you got tossed off, fell through. But a really fun fight.
So in Halo 2, we really, really enjoyed the moving giant pieces of geometry.
Yeah, what were they called, John?
Moving BSPs?
Moving BSPs. You and your mad moving BSP plans. That is
Now, wait a minute.
good-looking effects work.
How exactly?
And you shot the biggest, glowiest thing you could find.
Okay. I understand now. You mothers.
Extract the chief and return to an amber clad.
Little texture camera.
Sir, The Prophet is bugging out. Request permission to engage.
Negative, Commander.
Probably, I mean, I think pound for pound, one of the most, it seems pretty simple, but one of the more complex cinematics in the game, just in terms of switching from little pieces of the world where the characters are with their own special lighting, and then going to these big environments outside, and then having all these texture cameras. This was definitely the cinematic that pushed the engine the hardest.
Really awesome camera work.
Really great storyboards by Mr. Lee Wilson, and some really great roughed out stuff by C.J. Cowan. But yeah, it was a really
Kaboom.
a really ambitious cinematic that was probably a little bit more ambitious than we could pull off.
It looks like we pulled it off here.
Mr. Steve Scott, and I remember Steve.
I remember that effect.
I could not for the life of me get that effect to move properly down the street. That one that kept coming down the street.
Right.
And I remember I finally got it working, and I mean, you know me, I decided I can make it a little bit better, and I totally screwed it up. And I had to go back to Steve the next day and say, Steve, remember that thing that you placed for me that you've done it about 8 times? And God bless him, Steve Scott smiled and fixed it, but oh man, I felt bad about that. And you, Jones, who wanted to cut this part of the cinematic, admittedly, this is a pretty long cinematic.
What about us? My belly
Yeah,
aches.
it's true. I did. Yeah, you're right. I remember complaining about this one.
Quiet. You two whimper like grunts fresh off the teat.
Admittedly, I was wedded to the teat line,
The
but I
teat.
think it's true that this is really Tartarus's introduction. Otherwise, he becomes
Yeah, just another gray-haired brute.
just another gray-haired brute.
Kevin Michael Richardson was Tartarus.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Marty with your
Backwards.
satanic play the record backwards speaking here.
Which you guys had no idea, actually, there was real words to it. And it screwed everybody up thinking there's some secret message going on.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny. What's the secret message? I still didn't know that there were real world words there.
Oh, Jason.
Truth's go-to gesture,
Nice.
little finger.
Take your brutes with you.
That's right.
Should have been a sound effect on that.
Elites without their armor on,
Ooh.
Decided to have
They're-
you run by your
they got swimmers' bodies.
Yes, they're sort of leathery.
Ultimately, the terms of your execution are up to me.
Mr. Johnny Buckets. John Butkus with some really great cinematic animation in this scene.
Mausoleum of the Arbiter.
The Arbiter. Gee, it seems to me we had to re-record that line. Yeah.
This is the part in the game, I think, where people start to go, why the hell are we spending so much time with this Arbiter guy?
Well, most people are like, yeah, when do we get to be Master Chief again? What is all this backstory, exposition stuff?
Right.
I'm not paying attention right now.
Yeah.
Destruction was your error.
Halo something, this dude, he's
And
disgraced.
There's definitely
The people who pressed the A button and skipped ahead were probably pretty surprised.
One who
Now, do you remember, Jason, when we were talking about making the heretics all hunters?
Yeah. No. What?
Yeah, there was a time in Halo 2 where the plan was,
All hunters.
well, the heretic leader would be a hunter,
Oh,
and most of the heretics that you fought in the next level were all hunters. And don't forget that early on in Halo 2 days, where you went to go attack the heretics was actually the moon near the first Halo ring, the old infamous Alpha Moon environment.
Right.
oh,
And that Alpha Moon environment, which became Gas Giant, where they killed the heretic leader, or a gas mine, I think some of that geometry actually got used again. I mean, completely tweaked, but for the Sentinel Wall level, right? Like that
Yeah,
same sort of
right.
design. But yeah, originally in Halo 2, you were supposed to go as the Arbiter to the moon that you saw in the first Halo game, and that's where the heretics had holed up. And they were going to be hunters. God damn, that sounds cool.
I'm trying to listen to the cinematic.
yeah.
You can't just sit and be mesmerized in the developer commentary section.
Miguel Ferrer is the heretic, which is very cool.
One of the few times in the game where we were able to afford some great dynamic lights that.
Here he goes.
What would you have your Arbiter do?
How in the world does his lips make those noises? He sounds like just a normal guy talking, but his lips are like, what is that?
Oh, hi, Charity.
the covenant, we took an oath. According to our station,
Robert Davi, Spec Ops Commander.
on the blood of our fathers, on the blood of our sons, we swore to
Spec Ops
uphold the
Commander?
covenant.
He's a special operations commander of the Covenant.
That's right, Spec Ops Commander.
Worthy of neither pity
And
nor
he
mercy.
comes from Brooklyn or something, which is really amazing.
Our Lord's creation to broadcast their lives.
Ah, turn on that methane. That's right. And I remember Jay. I mean,
The last
or
minute.
The last minute, one of the last Foley things that went in. But worth it, Marty.
Absolutely.
Worth every.
Had to have it in there.
That's right. You know, Marty, I gotta say,
Yes, giants.
I definitely have my favorite piece of music in the game. This piece,
Nothing ever
second
will.
favorite.
Cool.
Are the arbiter, the will of the prophets. But these are my elites. Their
see?
lives matter to me. Yours does not.
You're
Davi.
right. If someone hit the A button at any time in the cinematic,
Well-
in about 15 seconds, they're for a really big
This
size.
this sequence of cinematics is what, 25, 30 minutes long? What is it?
Oh, come now. Let me put it this way. It's not quite as long as the grave mine section. But we'll get to the reason why
Oh,
that's a little
yes,
bit
there
longer
we
than it
go.
should be.
Why is that cable a different color? It's almost like it's gonna get detached later.
Book. This is good.
This is all good. And see, people are like, okay, I'm not really paying attention, but eventually I'm going to be the Master Chief because I want to be the, get back to shooting those Covenant.
No, what's going on?
Yes.
Wait
You
a
know,
minute.
as much as I think we all have mixed feelings about the Arbiter decision,
Yes.
and we absolutely didn't execute on it in the way that we really wanted to. But Halo 2, because we made this choice, I mean, all of a sudden just blew the doors open on the Covenant in this interesting way that now in Halo 3, I think we can go back to the Master Chief, that singular perspective, and we, just as people making the game, know so much more about that other side of the story. We can create something that's richer, and I think people who played Halo 2, it's kind of this, we took the knock, we made the investment, and then I think we're a lot better off for it. At least that's what I
love
like to
this
think.
line.
That's why I get to sleep at night.
Yes, Joe, I think you're absolutely right. This is what I love, though. Your armor system's not as new as ours, and we're going to, just completely jip you out of the invisibility in about, 10 seconds. Oh, that worked out
game
great.
designer. What was fun about that?
On Legendary, it was even less than 10 seconds.
Was it really?
It was basically didn't even do anything.
I mean, I remember we went around and around in terms of, because here you are as an elite, right, fighting other elites and other grunts.
Basically, at this point, a lot of people are going, I don't know who to shoot or why, but I'm shooting everything that moves.
Well, this is why having the heretics be hunters would have been genius.
Yeah, okay.
But I remember the conversation. I think I had it with you and Jamie, where I said, "Hunter heretics," and you and Jamie looked at me and thought, for some reason, that a whole level populated by hunters wouldn't be very much fun. I don't know why.
Yes, true.
You'd have a lot of areas to aim at.
Hey, what kind of ship is that there, Joe?
That, my friend, is a Seraph fighter. It is a cinematic model, rarely seen. But, funny thing, the Seraph fighter is actually the old Halo Covenant tank, right? That Shikai built.
Yeah.
That ship that you just saw, that sort of round, almost, what do you call it, cuttlefish
You'll
looking
see it
type
at
thing.
the end of the level.
Used to be a Covenant tank back in the day. And maybe again.
I worked with your guys on the sound for the Covenant carbine and the Covenant sniper rifle for so long, Marty. They got so sick of me.
I remember that.
But what did you not like about the...
Oh, very tricky. I don't know. It's weird. It's weapon sounds. They don't work. They don't work. They don't work. They don't work. And then you find something that works, and it's kind of hard to. Did I ever come complain about this music, Marty?
This is Incubus. I think you did. I think you complained about every piece from somebody else. So, which actually kind of makes me feel good, even though. There you go.
One of the things
Yeah,
we
this was
wanted...
one of the things we experimented with was some music from some outside groups, Incubus and Breaking Benjamin, which I personally thought was pretty cool. There were some people like Jason who were not as excited about it.
Well, we sort of across the board in Halo 2, I mean, we definitely went out, we got, whether it was Robert Davi or Michelle Rodriguez, people more known people to do the voices as well, and I think that turned out great. See, right there, he's sniffing with his nose. You see? Because oh wait.
Oh, look at him.
Oh no, not again.
Oh, what a jerk! What a huge jerk!
Oh, Miguel Ferrer. Yes.
An arbiter,
Yes.
unflattered.
In a world where your enemies and allies look the same.
Using a holodrome.
So we may kill you.
This is good. The
is.
Robert Davi on Miguel Ferrer, macho.
Ooh. Who's got the
Stare
deepest
down.
voice?
The flood is upon us.
And then Keith David. I mean, come on, these voices.
It's good. Good stuff.
Infection forms, carrier forms, most brilliant idea ever. Actually, originally, I think it was the carrier forms just blew up. And then somebody had the idea they should blow up and spit out infection forms.
Whose idea was that?
That was the birth of genius. I don't remember.
Oh. I think that was my idea. Now that
Yeah.
That clearly was a sound decision.
That was, I guess, probably the third time you saved Halo 1 and 2.
there you go. Thank you.
This will save me from the storm, but you will be consumed.
Make Arbiter angry. Bunk.
Arbiter, where is
Now, what are those elites walking on over there? Just a little bit of thin air. It's fine. I remember the day that the dip in the floor got cut. We didn't quite have time to. I mean, the dip in the floor was made. We didn't
It's
quite have time to
amazing the
adjust
things you
animation.
still see, because I've never seen these, half of these.
Each one of these bugs
Yeah.
is burned into my brain, Marty.
Return to the
You're so obsessed about the bug that you missed the Arbiter's best line of the entire game. The cable. I'm going to cut it.
Yes.
I think a certain Mr. Jason Jones wrote that line, if I'm not mistaken. You know, when you're sitting down with Jones, for people that are listening to this, and you're about to, work on the story, usually what Jones does is he comes to you at the beginning of a game, and
With a line that has to be
with
it.
like 2 lines, and one of the handful of lines that you came to me at the beginning of Halo 2 and said, I got, here's the story of Halo 2. Oh, okay, Jason, what's the story of Halo 2? Story of Halo 2 is the cable. I'm going to cut it, and I'm a monument to all your sins. Bam, done. That's the story. Oh, okay, that sounds really cool. Hey, who says those things?
I don't know. You make it up.
Oh, and the other one was in Space Station, Master Chief looking out, Earth burning below, only blood will pay for this. Those were the 3 lines that Jason came to the beginning of Halo 2. Only blood will pay for this, the cable I'm
happened to
going to
that
cut
line?
it. Bam, monument to all your sins.
But we didn't do the only blood will pay
Everything
for
else
this
wrote
one.
itself.
Turn, heretic. Arbiter, I would
So
rather
why did
die
we
by
cut
your
the only blood will pay for this line?
Well,
It was too cool.
to these lies.
well, I
I
think
think we cut the whole mission.
yeah,
Yeah.
that ended up on the same graveyard as. Well, wait. Before I tell that story, there was the worst bug in Halo 2 for me.
For Joe.
Was that if you look, Spark's light in the game, not the cinematics here, it's supposed to light when he talks,
Right.
but it's reversed. So in the game, when he talks, it goes dim. So in every single cinematic, poor Spark in the game actually doesn't really talk.
And ladies and gentlemen, when Joe says that's the worst bug in the game, and it's a bug that no one in the world has ever noticed, it just shows you the kind of compulsive, crazy person he is.
Well, I think at the end of the day, not to get too weepy on Oprah's couch, but
Weepy.
But the worst thing about Halo 2 for me was that in Halo 1, it was all, look, I could go in, I could script it with AI, I could do playbacks, and I could fix stuff, right? But in Halo 2, we definitely went to this system where it was a lot of custom animation, really long lead times, and sure, something like the monitor, if you caught it, you could fix, but it was really hard to go back and fix simple things in Halo 2 cinematics, unfortunately. But the thing I was going to mention before, I'm not letting you off the hook, is remember what Miranda was going to do to the Master Chief.
This heretic imperiled the
Would you like to
Red
tell the children what Miranda was going to do?
Yeah, should we wait until the right moment? I think it's still a few missions from now. But I think the phrase arc welding a thermonuclear bomb to his armor comes to mind.
That's right. Miranda was going to strap a bomb to the Chief's back after signing up
Gonna be awesome.
a deal with the devil with the prophets. And why was she going to do that?
Why didn't he
Because
do that?
She was
Still-
mad about
still-
Captain Keyes,
Still
her
mad.
father's death.
Punched her dad in the face.
Do it and find out where we are.
You guys just managed to the heretic who just talked through his entire piece.
Good.
I know.
We're hard to be getting the respect of the game.
That's how we feel about the
Coming
heretic.
into view now.
Wait for it. Cigar spit
What
take
exactly am I looking at?
coming up.
That is another Halo.
How many people do you think were shocked by that?
Say what? Another Halo?
Johnson looked shocked.
That's why it's called Halo 2. Now, very few people notice, right here, we're hearing a new monk melody that represents the monks of Halo 2 instead of the monks of Halo 1. Very few people know that.
Wait, you were getting mad at me because I noticed Spark's eyeball not blinking the right way?
I'm just saying, this is a subtle thing. I didn't obsess about it.
Find out why he came to Earth, why he came here.
Take first platoon.
Here we go.
Again, Halo 2, this is the mother of all exposition scenes. This is the big... And isn't it funny that it's another member of the Keys family
Yes.
that has given it to you?
They call it Halo 2.
Over the target in 5.
Jay Wineland's cameo appearance.
Look at how big that ring is. ODST pods, good stuff.
That's cool.
Oh, what was the awesome thing that was going to happen here? Oh yeah, the pods were going to go by the Pelicans on the way down or something like that. There was something I was completely excited for, and I just never came to terms with.
Well, what we were gonna do there is it was gonna be first person, right? Just like the Silent Cartographer intro. We were gonna put little windows in the ODST pod, and you were gonna be sitting. We would start with the Pelicans flying past you, right? Then we would snap to first person, and you would be able to watch them get blown in the sky as you were heading down.
Oh no, that was it, right? It was the Pelicans were coming down. You went past them, and you knew you had to take out these guns before the Pelicans got close enough to get shot down.
You're right. That's right.
And then there was some pressure of time and frame rate and la 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 la.
Welcome to making
A lack of will,
games.
really.
Yeah, right.
Sir, we got to neutralize those turrets.
Oh, ODSTs.
The Aussie, he survives. He's a survivor.
Completely. Oh.
Poor little guy.
I got a good view coming in. It's a
Jason
big
likes the
building in the middle of this island.
rocket launcher that hones in on things.
Looks like a temple.
What, in the game, the Pelican that took 15 minutes to get there?
Where I
If I was a megalomaniac, and I'm not.
We're moving out.
That was a good line.
That was a good line.
Rob Stokes wrote that line.
Earplugs. Sergeant Stacker.
Oh, you gotta give the shotgun passenger a sniper rifle or a rocket launcher or something.
That's you know, people are dying all the time, and he's making fun.
See, because Johnson, during this level, he was in the Pelican, you see,
Yes.
with Miranda,
There you go.
flying around. Eye in the sky. See, this was one of those things in Halo 2, where all of a sudden, Johnson, who was just a Marine that died 1,000 times in Halo 1, we made him a cinematic character. And do you remember, Marty, the
Yes.
day that
Yes.
Jason came up to you and me and looked us square in the eye and said, if you're going to make Johnson a cinematic character, that's fine. But I will kill you both if you don't replace him with as good a voice actor as Scully to run around with you all the time.
Yeah.
Wait, did we ever do that? I forget.
No, because I don't.
I know we're still
but I don't
alive.
understand why you mentioned that, because he's now going to kill us.
I think the time is right that I now kill you.
Oh, Marty, you've got to talk about the singing.
Singing Prophet. Listen to what he's singing. He's singing the Halo Monk melody.
I shall light this
And apparently,
release its cleansing
when you
flame,
translate what
and
he's
burn
doing,
the
it's just
path
actually
into the
talking
divine
instead of
beyond.
singing.
Pretty much.
I'm not sure I quite understand that, but that's okay.
Why are you the doubting Thomas tonight?
From what I understand, the prophet will need an object. Index.
Oh, the magic index.
I've located a library.
Watch the magic index from game to game.
Yes, that index. Mm-hmm.
The magic MacGuffin that can be pocketed and
Hey,
tossed
so-
this way and that way.
Some nice video effect on that.
We could actually do video effect in the game. We just couldn't do it in the game.
But I just saw it there. I'm sure it was in the game.
And finally, just like remember in Halo 1, we had that mission where you were going to go in and assassinate the Prophet. And here it is,
This is in Halo 2.
Halo 2.
And here we are, some nice, great moving, big pieces of
Big
geometry.
chunks of moving stuff. Well, some interesting limp body physics.
Thing is, Jones just doesn't give up on a good idea. Don't kill the Prophet in one game, you kill him in the next.
That's the largest Covenant fleet I've
Don't
ever seen.
get the
largest
bomb
anyone's
arc
ever
welded to your armor in one game. Do it in the next.
Uh-oh.
Get inside the temple and kill regret before it can stop us.
Oof.
See, now notice how that music played right through the end of the cinematic into the beginning of the thing. See, this is what makes our
Right in his
cinematics
area.
cool.
Notice how that grenade went right on his business. Poor grunts.
Oh, there was nothing more fun than plasma pistol battle rifling the elite honor guard.
Interrupt my sermon.
Actually, maybe jumping on his throne and beating him down. Maybe that was more fun.
That's cool. The Prophet's little hover chairs have giant guns on them.
Well, I mean, wouldn't you have giant guns on them in the world where
I was a
half
crippled
metric
old man.
ton cyborg was about to
And the way you kill him, all I see is you punch him.
bludgeon him to death?
That's great. Okay, I'm going to grab that gun now because, I
No,
just
you can't.
All right.
Now, of course, where do you run? Where do you run if a giant alien spaceship is about to toast you?
I don't know.
You run backwards, off
See, when
off
I
the
jumped
back.
down that ledge in the game, I always died.
Well, here is
Marty, do you turn into a big whiner after 10 p.m. in the evening instead of a pumpkin?
And this is where we cut the second level in Halo 2, called
Oh, I don't remember.
Forerunner Tank.
Oh, Forerunner
Oh yeah.
Tank.
Oh,
That's
Forerunner Tank. And the greatest thing about Forerunner Tank is that Jones, for a year, we had this level on the whiteboard.
Yes.
And I would ask him, and Paul would ask him, and whoever would ask him, say, Jones, so what is a Forerunner Tank, and what does it do? And Jones, do you even know what it was supposed to do? Describe to me in 30 words
Describe
or
it
less
now, during this,
what
like,
a Forerunner
really long
Tank was and what it was supposed to do.
Be awesome, blow things up, glow a lot from little windows, move real fast.
All right, fine. That was less than 30 words. But the chief was supposed to go on this, another piece of moving sort of BSP geometry, right? And then,
Awesomeness would ensue.
yes. And you would really be introduced to the grave mine because his big tentacles would come crashing down upon you, and you would basically sort of be going through the, not the bowels, but the caverns of the grave mine, and he would be introducing himself with big pieces of geometry, tentacles that would slam down in front of you, cut off pathways.
Yeah.
You know, Jason's revealing all his innermost secrets of how to design great games. Awesomeness would ensue. That's all he has to say. And that's game design. Now I get it.
I just have to get you guys off my back so I can do my work.
I shall relay your decision to the council.
This exchange of hats. I love that line. It's coming up.
What's up? What's up? Like that little moment between the two of them. It's good stuff. Poor Truth, he's so world weary. He's got the weight of the whole Covenant on his shoulders.
Yes.
And I think one of the tactical errors we might have made, Marty,
Exchange of hats. What?
is in the world where we wanted to convince people that Truth wasn't the worst guy in the world.
How in the world was that ever something we thought would actually happen?
Aside our sorrow.
Don't get me wrong, Michael Wincott, genius performance.
Yes, but he's
But in the
never going to
world
make
where-
you feel like he was going to possibly be your friend.
Halo.
Again, I maintain that if the heretic leader had been a hunter, problem solved.
All who are worthy along the path.
And I'm allowed to get away with that statement for the same reason you were allowed to get away with Forerunner Tank, awesomeness would ensue.
400 tank would have been an incredible level.
I believe it.
It's a tank.
It's a tank. It glows.
I like the little Halo holograms on their headdress.
And it, clarity and grace, had shown us the
And I mean, in Halo 1, if we had actually made the Prophet an elite with a funny hat, how tragic would that have been? Because here we have
Yeah, because now we
really
get to,
great looking
we would have been
character.
stuck with that. The great Johnny.
Well, apparently we lost all the assault rifles between Halo 1 and Halo 2, so I think we probably could have transformed the Prophet.
With the
And the pistols.
And the pistols disappeared.
There's a Covenant sabotage expedition to take away the human pistol because it was just too good.
And here,
I think a book is coming out about that.
Yes. Here, what we're starting to do, right? We're building some momentum. The strand of the Chief's story and the strand of the Arbiter's tale, they're starting to come together. Who was that guy that killed the Prophet of Regrets? It's coming together.
Gotcha.
Building to a head. Keep that in mind.
I'm following it.
Uh-oh.
Thank God that this weapon was powerful enough to every single time shoot that thing's arm off, because that was one of those little serendipitous things that was not a custom animation, just blew that sucker's arm right off. And I gotta say, probably one of the few times in Halo 2 that you actually see the ring.
Now, are these guys sort of reminiscent of the marathon dudes that float around and fire at you? What are those things called?
Mad defense drones. Marathon automated defense drone, MADD. No.
Oh. Okay.
But the Sentinels are.
God damn, there were some just beautiful, drop-dead, gorgeous moments in Halo 2. I mean, that I don't know, sometimes we get down on Halo 2, but there's some beautiful, beautiful stuff that the guys did.
Oh, killing Flood with a sword, pretty fun.
Totally.
Although, nothing really beat being locked in a room with Guilty Spark.
Look at that shot. Nice shot, Joe. I like that. Or was that me? No, I don't remember. Did you shoot that one?
What, on the just doing this running through playback?
Yeah,
thing?
yeah.
Not quite sure. Ah, yes. The Sentinel Factory.
How many people know that's a Sentinel factory, I wonder? Being blown up and then crashing, and then you get into it later on.
Why aren't you looking at it? Who's this?
And this was the original, again, redone a lot, but the Alpha Moon sort of geometry.
The original first level, second level, first service level.
Yep.
Whoops.
First Arbiter level.
I didn't say that.
How many levels did we actually not do? Let's say.
I think it was
cut
71.
Well, let's not ruin the surprise. But so far we've cut Covenant ship.
Yes.
Where you go in and take turret apart from the inside. Forerunner tank. Which was going to be awesome.
Yeah,
Awesomeness would ensue.
I don't like the way this is going, Joe.
So 2 so far. But I mean, that's what developing is all about.
Oh, watch it.
And now, did you hear that line? That was delivered as an elite, but it was still by David Scully, who also is an elite voice.
That's right.
Just in case people.
Wow, those audio guys are just at the top of their game.
It was so nice. This was some nice stuff in here, Marty. And Jay and Cipo.
Absolutely.
But this was actually, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Jones, but this was, I think, some of the ideas that you had for Forerunner tank, right? I mean, this piece of geometry was, I mean, it wasn't going to look like this, but
it would be a tank.
But it was the Arbiter on one side, Master Chief on the other, both charging for the icon index, right?
It was a pale shadow of what Forerunner tank was going to bring to this world.
You have no idea what Forerunner tank was going to be.
This thing was agonizing. So many times you fell through this geometry, got flung off it at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Like the Flood all jumped onto it and then immediately exploded into 1,000,000 pieces.
Tartarus being a helpful kind of guy. Sure, I trust him.
Do you know how hard it was to put sounds on those opening? C-Paul had to work forever because those actual giant opening doors were like, in reality, like 10 miles away, and the sound just would not play in sync because the speed of sound would screw it up.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Hold on to that grave mine tentacle.
I think someone reused the Foley from Halo 1.
What? But it's the same index thingy.
You know, your father father never asked me for help either.
Wow.
Johnson's got the lines, my friend.
Mackenzie, Perez. How's
just-
Well, see, again,
You hear me, Marie?
He loses tentacles all the time. That's just one of the things that happen.
one of the things in
He sheds them like hair.
the Gravemind was actually a much bigger presence in the original imagining of this game, where he was. His tentacles were sort of seeping out everywhere, and you would see them much earlier on.
His tentacles were kind of racing like freight trains behind half-open doors, things like that.
Exactly. You're right. 400 tank would have been awesome.
Johnson, you all right? Johnson!
Miranda's capable. She's got some moves.
Boom.
Now, all the facial animation in Halo 2 was done in scripting, just going in and setting poses and then interpolating between them. But that all got put in that was the last thing I did in Halo 2, and I remember going to Harold, our new illustrious leader back then, test Poobah,
Right.
and saying, Harold, just give me 24 hours, please, so I can go back and put emotion on these guys' faces. And Harold, he did it.
Just give me 24 hours so I can go back and touch every script I ever wrote in the entire game.
Wait, what could have gone wrong?
What could have gone wrong?
So now I think we can go back to the bomb thing, where the chief's been kind of taking Miranda's orders the whole game, and he comes back from one of his little missions with some little trinket he picked up for Miranda, and he finds her like in Congress with the prophets in the back of some Phantom. And it wasn't just because of her dad in Halo 1, but she chose not to trust the chief because of this. He's going crazy. He's all worried about the ring going off. And sorry.
It was going to be cool.
I'm a monument
listen
to
to the
all your
line- the
sins.
line.
There's the line. And no one knows exactly what that means except Jason.
And then it made perfect sense that
Rather not piss this thing off.
Miranda and the prophets get together and say, hey, let's send your Tin Man down with a bomb to take out the Gravemind. Oh, that would have been genius. The most genius part was when the chief has the bomb. Jamie's going to kill me for even talking about this. I hope he never listens to it. There's no way he'll get this far into the movie.
This far into
You with the bomb, like
Actually, no one's listening to us right now, so don't even worry about it.
in first
Talking,
person.
'cause it's a long cinematic.
Yeah, you with the bomb arc welded to your back, with your back to like this big hole, and a bunch of ODSTs like backing you into the hole until you jump, and then them throwing like a SMG down after you. Oh, that would have been genius.
You know, I
Still
gotta
never
say,
quite understood
the
then.
thing which I really did like about that cinematic,
Shut up, Marty.
setting aside the Miranda, is the sort of moment of weakness, the chief getting knocked down and
Oh wait,
Prophet of regret, council of most high, higher of the covenant.
A reclaimer?
yeah, he's kind of in a bad way, huh?
I forgot about this part.
Yeah, and this is the other monitor. I love this.
2401 Penitent Tangent.
Oh no, this
This is the guy from.
right in between. Preceding this cinematic was where Forerunner Tank was going to take place. That's why this is such a long cinematic stretch, remember? We would fight through Sentinel Wall.
Most of the time, the reason it's long
Arbiter would be
cinematics
kicked
is
down a
because
hole.
you decided to make them long cinematics. That's what I remember.
I'm trying to explain. Arbiter would be kicked down the hole by Tartarus, right? And then, bam, Forerunner Tank. You'd see the Chief's side of the story. They would meet up at the Gravemind. But when we lost Forerunner Tank, we had this really big cinematic, big important cinematic that unfortunately could go nowhere, but right next to another big long cinematic.
Your prophets have promised
It's not a plant. It's not Audrey.
existence.
Although I don't know why I keep thinking about Audrey.
No salvation.
Well, there was a big a discussion where, you know, as originally designed, the Gravemind was this seething mass of corpses, right? He was
Right.
His teeth were skulls, and he talked from the shadows. And when we moved to the world where we wanted him to have lip sync and to actually
Halo is a weapon.
speak,
Your prophets are making a big mistake.
Your ignorance
maybe not the best decision in the world,
brings evil. It shall not harm.
but one which, in the world where we didn't have Forerunner Tank to introduce him properly,
Show it to you.
we sort of needed to have the moment,
Still time.
the long moment of the Gravemind introduction.
A But first it must be found.
That's a great voice. I mean, come on.
We'll search
D.
one
Baker.
likely spot.
And Joe, why does the Gravemind speak in rhyme?
Fate had us
Why did the Gravemind speak in rhyme?
but this ring will make
I think he speaks in rhyme because I know that it really made Jason angry.
Yeah, it induced such an effect in me.
Well, I mean, inscrutable alien creatures
Often rhyme.
often rhyme.
Iambic pentameter.
Bam! Book!
We are, all of us, gravely concerned. The release of
Although the effect when you actually see it on the screen is, much better than the way I imagined it happening on the script.
The rhyming.
Yes.
the Covenant should savor.
The old get it off the page and up on its feet.
There you go.
With it,
Where it's too
our
late to
path is
change it.
clear. Our entry into the divine
Yes.
world is guaranteed. The great journey
You know,
D. Baker did a great job as the Gravemind voice, I have to say. He
Uh-oh.
overdubs himself. Oh,
You know, when it's hard to
Comedy
get from
relief.
one place in the Halo universe to another,
Just
you know what
teleport.
you do? You teleport.
Oh my god. You remember how this game originally ended?
oh, don't say.
Wait, never mind.
Oh, we'll get there. We have a whole credit sequence to talk about.
Do you remember the medallion that the Prophet had?
Oh, that's right.
That was the best. That was the best ever.
Tell the story.
It's pretty complicated and
I don't think so.
and really not the best ever, but it was pretty funny.
I think it might be better than Forerunner Tank.
No.
That prophet, Truth, he has the index. You've got to take it from him.
Well, we'll have to tell a little bit of it when we get to the final part of Halo 2.
Truth
Good old High Charity.
levels of the tower.
Good old High
I'll
Charity.
reverse this grab lift.
At one point was going to be a very brightly lit, sort of happy place, right?
It was.
Really?
Yep.
Whoa.
There are 2 groups of Marines in this detention
Cool.
block. I'll zero their locations.
There's
But
always got to be a detention block.
But the aliens, they love purple. And I know that Jason loves purple.
Yeah. Most of my clothes are purple.
Hey, nice stick.
Oh.
Well, there's always the point in the game where you got to rescue your friends. We're just lucky this guy didn't get out of his cell and go,
Halo.
while I was in this cell, I heard the Covenant talking about something they called
Halo 2.
But you know what? Damn it! Why didn't we put that
We
in?
should have done that. What's wrong with you?
Self-referential humor. Only funny to us.
What is that thing in the middle of High Charity, Joe? What is that?
That is the
Cool looking.
Forerunner ship, the
it is.
Forerunner Dreadnought.
Forerunner ship sounds like the name of a level we should have had.
We'll get there. Oh, here it comes.
What?
Slip space rupture. It's in amber clad.
Ah, an
Okay,
amberclad.
up here, make sure you look at it, follow over.
Whoa.
Oh, nice. Jump up there so we can see it crash. Thank you.
Goes around the tower.
Response.
What's going on, Cortana?
Man, the Covenant really just,
Another tower ahead of our position.
they vacated High Charity. Like they got the hell out of Dodge when they realized what was going to happen. And I remember the just these lines that Truth is saying, remember?
Yes.
We wrote just like a whack of, I don't know what, 40, 50 sort of one-off lines for the
I
Prophet.
think it was 2000. Yeah, but go ahead.
It wasn't that bad. But actually turned out to be really helpful. Lesson being, Marty,
Yeah.
always better to write some cool
Absolutely.
stuff, record that stuff,
Because you
and
can always you find a place to use it.
always find a place to use it.
Yeah, he loves the fuel rod gun.
I'm picking up 2 more transponders. It's the commander and Johnson. They're closing on Truth's position.
Oh, can you hear it?
They'll need your
What's
help.
that? Oh,
Taylor had a cold that day.
that's right. Well, Miranda had a cold too in one of these cinematics. I think we've already gone past it.
Yeah, no, it was Jen who when she came back in for the pickup session at the very last moment, and she had a cold, and we just recorded it that way. I always hear it, but apparently nobody else does.
Do you remember back in the day when Johnson and Miranda had a thing?
What?
Don't you remember that?
No.
The hope
Well, I mean,
of all the
I don't think it got past a conversation that's very similar to the one that we're having now. Let's rewind to however many years ago. Hey, Jones, You know what would be really awesome? Yeah. If Miranda and Johnson had a thing. To which I think you replied,
What?
and then I got really bitter about that. And so when you came to me and were like, hey, you know what would be awesome?
Miranda
Is
strapped the
chief
bomb to
having
your
a
back.
bomb on his back. I was like, no, it wouldn't.
Let him be. This journey waits for no one.
The great journey, Joseph.
Wow, Truth is a
Kelly.
colossal jerk. I totally didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
What? He's a bad guy? Oh. Prophet of Mercy's dead.
I just hang on that grind for a little while.
All the prophets are gone now.
Marty,
Yes?
beautiful piece.
Thank you. Halo-y. He teleports too. That's amazing.
Well, the Gravemind sent the two heroes on their own little separate but connected journeys. Circling back, people. We're circling back.
They're gonna meet someday.
They are. They're going to join together in a grand third act finale. Just you wait.
Would that be like the end of Halo 2?
It's true. The end of Halo 2. And see, if the heretic leader had been a hunter, how sweet would it have been if now in the level where you join back up with the
Hunters are joining you
they
up.
come back.
Yes.
That's right.
Now I hope we show that where the hunters are actually an ally of yours here.
That thing must die.
Yes.
Good stuff. Little pods.
Over so soon?
This level turned out really well.
There are more brutes to kill.
Running around with a bunch of elite buddies with swords who turn invisible
Very
between
cool.
encounters.
Good.
Never
times.
fails. And you just want to kill the brutes. You can't help it.
Juicy targets. Furry. Yet leathery.
How about some piano music? Yes. Jason's going, piano? What?
So Marty, so what's your theory for the kids? What's
The kids.
when you're looking at? I mean, you score the cinematics, you put the music in. I understand that, but for the kids, when you look at the level, what's your?
Just
How do you approach it?
desperation. I'm looking for
sort of
something
close
that'll
your eyes and rummage
take
around
you,
in the
take
hat.
you from point A to point B with the right attitude, if possible.
Who could it be? Who could be in this tank?
I don't know. What?
By the rings, Arbiter.
Arbiter.
It's missing mandibles.
Commander.
By the brutes. Violence.
Vile to slay beasts.
That's right. The beginning of this level, the cinematic, which we didn't do because we cut forward in our tank and had to do the bring them together, the Gravemind teleport thing, was you would actually witness the brutes, lining up and executing some elite counselors, the same elite counselors that you saw in the very first cinematic in the game.
Okay, now watch this. I bet you very few people are going to understand this sound effect that's supposed to happen here. What? Hear the door slam shut? Remember that door slamming shut.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Because at this point, we had decided to cut some levels at the end,
Yes.
and you flipped around some half levels,
Right.
and there were some continuity questions. And Prophet of Murphy's still alive. Mercy is still alive. And so this is so we're catching up now. The Master Chief is almost caught up.
It's a Forerunner ship.
Two heroes coming together.
Heading
Yeah.
straight for it. If he
Again.
leads the Covenant fleet to Earth, they will
That's right.
stand
We
a
did do
chance.
the dividing up the levels and
Yes,
and,
and
and
flipping
doubling
them around. Then you tried to show that no time had passed when we get
He does.
back to that
We'll
one
detonate
moment,
an
and we'll
Everclass
get to
reactor
that.
just like we did the Auto.
But it's
The
very
blast will
confusing, and
destroy
I'm
the
still
city and the
confused.
ring. Not a very original plan.
Mark.
You guys are like talking, and I'm just like, I'm watching this.
I don't want to chance the
I need to
remote detonation.
re-engage.
Do you know this game? It's Halo 2.
It's called Halo 2. Oh, look.
Boom! But, I mean, there definitely was that point, right, where, I mean, I think one of the saddest things about Halo 2, and there are, don't get me wrong, a lot of awesome things as well, but I think toward the end we knew that we were going to have to make some pretty big cuts, and the speed with which we made those cuts, almost as if we had a backup plan and knew that it was going to have to happen, was. I mean, I'm glad we were efficient, but we were a little bit too efficient. It was. We knew it might have to be done.
The cutting is never happy, and it was not.
I'll do what I can to slow the launch sequence.
This is some beautiful. I love the levels here, though. I mean, this is some great looking stuff.
Chris Barrett, right?
For a Covenant construct, it's unusually
A mausoleum down below.
Oh, there's so many times where that light bridge didn't work, and you'd turn it on and run right out, and then fall to your death immediately.
And some of the old Forerunner tank technology, right? We were going to use here, Gravemind tentacles smashing through the windows.
Like freight trains.
Like freight trains.
I'm running out of options, Chief. I can't stall the launch sequence much
Here you are, back in the inner sanctum of the Hierarchs.
High Charity, the holy city of the Covenant, overrun by the flood.
Forget about the flood. You've got to get aboard. We're out of time.
Again, another Halo moment where you need to make a spectacular leap pursued by endless flood.
Wasn't this going to be a
But I
level?
don't want to go, baby. I don't want to go. Originally, this cinematic, you were supposed to be in a Warthog, and you were going to launch yourself on the Warthog into the compartment of the ship.
A tube.
There goes the
right. And again, another cool idea that we didn't quite get a chance to execute on for Halo 2, but
I ran through a truth.
Yes.
definitely in there for Halo 3.
We'd started. A lot of it was
Don't
working,
make
do you
a girl a promise. You know you can't keep it.
I know, I kind of stepped on that line.
Sorry. Okay, now, meanwhile, let's hear the sound effect.
Okay.
There. That door closing sound
What is that place?
was that same door closing sound. See, no
That
time
really-
has passed.
That really brings it all together.
See, now we understand that no time has actually passed. We're just picking up where we were. Jason even didn't know that.
That was your solo attempt to try to fix the way
No, that
we
was, Joe said, no, just put the door closing sound in again and people will realize that no time has passed. I'm like, I don't think anybody's going to get that, Joe. Sorry.
That was your idea, Joe?
Well, wait a minute. How come you're blaming that on me? Marty.
Because that's what you told us to do. And I'm like, what? Even I don't get that no time has passed. But it's all right. It was fun.
Well, I mean, let me put it this way. It totally makes sense now when we're watching everything.
When we're watching
only
it this
takes
way,
10
yeah.
minutes. Oh, cutting never fun. But hey, at least here we let you be friends with hunters.
This was pretty awesome.
Yes. The hunters have come to our aid.
Because you remember in Gas Giant when they were the heretics.
That would have been genius.
Oh, no, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, well, yeah.
We are sorry.
This mission was really fun.
This is a blast.
You know, this is one of those parts in Halo 2 where I wish it had been a lot longer. Like, this was so much fun, this part of the mission, that it was over too soon.
Okay, good. Oh, nice. See, how many people even know this whole sequence? Because most people just run out there, they never saw that whole thing.
Yeah.
And then the hunters are actually in front of you if you spend your time watching, laying back a little bit.
Marty, do you remember why there used to be a cinematic there? Do you remember why we cut it?
No, I don't.
Well, there used to be a cinematic there where the brutes were actually about to, the soldiers were there
Yeah.
on their knees, and the brutes were going to
Well, we have a
lop off their heads.
little moment there.
Lop off their heads, and this
Yes.
was, unfortunately, right about that time when real-world events made that a little bit too real.
Ooh, yeah.
A little bit too real.
It was too politically dangerous.
Yeah, just hit a little bit too hard.
So this is where you actually get to drive the Scarab tank through the. Oh no, wait, you don't.
I was like, huh? I really don't remember very much.
This is when your buddy Johnson
Do it, Johnson.
has license to say every awesome line we could come up with. Wow, that Banshee's totally
Yeah.
screwed.
Wow. Well, you just barely make it here. This is cool. Whoa.
So Jones, you got to talk a little bit about the boss fights in Halo 2.
I really enjoyed the chair. Jumping on the chair and beating the snot out of regret. That was cool. But it was risky. We really didn't know how those were going to turn out.
Take the icon in your hands.
They're so different. Tartarus is so awesome. Yeah, they're so different from all the rest of the gameplay. You play for an hour and a half, and then you got to do something completely different. And it's not always satisfying, but there's a lot of fun in it.
Tartarus, stop. Impossible.
That was sort of a late addition, if I remember correctly.
And disobey the hierarchs?
The flags.
Yeah, I didn't understand what the flags are supposed to indicate some sort of rank or something, right?
It's kind of the old sort of Japanese soldier
What you say is heresy.
flag-wearing look about them. But with Covenant technology that makes a breeze blow even if there's not a breeze.
Please,
That's like the
Wait.
don't shake the light bulb.
Oh, brilliant. Another great line.
It's almost like scenes between Sergeant Johnson and Guilty Spark write themselves.
No, shake the light bulb.
What are they?
What are they? I love that.
Here we go. Could you once again explain to me how all this works?
They call it Halo 2.
My creators activated the rings.
Okay.
They and all additional sentient life in 3 radii of the
And you-
galactic center.
3 radii of the
Now,
galactic
did he ever
center.
say that line the way that you really wanted him to say it? Because I remember we went back and forth on that line for a long.
That was perfect.
Was that a good read?
Chunk.
Oh, Johnson takes it.
The great journey has begun. And the brutes, not the elite, shall be the prophets.
Oh, look at that shot.
That is a giant hammer.
This is all cool.
Birthday cake of doom.
Plus, we end up I think I end up playing like 3 or 4 pieces of music simultaneously in this boss battle. And what's cool is the final boss battle of the whole game, of course, is going to come after this with the Master Chief, right?
Gosh, I remember jumping off that platform behind those elites so many freaking times.
Johnson helping out, sniping him from the side.
Oh, this is cool. Did you go up here? This was fun. I actually think this ended up being kind of fun.
There was a lot of neat stuff in here, but this was definitely my least favorite of the 3
Really?
boss battles. Yeah. Yeah, we tried so hard, so long.
See, I'm more forgiving, except for the fact that it's.
No, I think it's cool. I'm just saying, like.
No, but I mean the most amazing thing that we did here, of course, is that you're ending the game as
I put some
the
emotion on her
Arbiter.
face right there. The last thing I did in Halo 2 is to make Miranda's face go right before Harold locked me out of the depot and took away my keys.
Oh,
got it. Right there, she's thinking, I wish I could make
could
this
have emotion on my
holographic
face."
and disappear like everybody else.
See, we're playing this here. This is the Halo 2 monk theme.
Right.
Oh, it's different than the Halo 1 monk theme.
It's gathering its dark energies, Marty.
Yes.
And then
Kaboing.
dissipates.
Yep.
Here we go. What you're doing right here, Marty, is you're building up to something big.
What's that?
You're
Johnson riding the.
Johnson rides his little buddy.
You never liked that, did you?
Hitting with what?
We had to get him over there.
Show me.
Again, there were some great Easter egg ideas for the variety of ways in which Johnson, on the different difficulty levels, would ride Spark.
Should have done it.
Who would be on top, who would be on bottom.
Activation from here.
Johnson was usually on top.
Listen, Tinkerbell, don't make me.
Where
Tinkerbell.
would someone go to activate the?
If I had my druthers, every cinematic would involve Johnson talking to Spark. Oh, but first Johnson comes in upside down.
Hey,
Is that?
where is it?
Da-da-da-da!
It's obviously on the last level of the game. Woohoo! I can hardly wait to play this last level. Let's do it.
Yep.
Here we go. Good. Great. Master Chief, I'm going to play it.
117.
Yeah?
Anyone hear me? Over. Isolate that signal.
Oh man, this is so exciting.
You mind telling me what you're doing on that ship?
Sir, finishing this fight.
Damn
Yes,
straight.
Q. What? Wait. Well, this obviously is the music that's leading us into the last level, right?
Marty, you seem to still harbor a lot of bad feelings about this. But the credits
channeling the fans.
credits aren't infinite. So Jones, walk us through what was supposed to happen right now.
Project Lead Jason Jones.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. There was supposed to be a whole mission there, Joe.
Actually, I think there were supposed to be 3 missions.
Well, there was one important one.
That's right. But what was going to happen
Well,
is
wait
you
a
were going
minute.
to arrive back at Earth.
But we don't want to say what was going to happen because it never did happen, and that's not part of what Halo 3 is.
I think this is a great example of
Okay, go ahead.
what Bungie does really well, which is come up with an
Which is
awesome idea.
Which is make stuff up.
Which is come up with a really good idea, not execute it on it the first time around, save it, sit on it, hone it, refine it, and then wham, next game,
there it is.
Realize it to its fullest potential.
What was that idea?
It would have looked different with stencil shadows, all right? We're done recording.
Wow, what a colossal jerk.
Wait, what do you mean? That was like, what? Like putting a stake through the heart of Stencil Shadows and like pushing it out into the airlock and venting it into space was like the.
It's like you.
That was like the best thing I did.
It's like you strapped a bomb to Stencil Shadow's back and welded it.
And sent it to kill the last level in the game. Yeah, the whole extra mission there would have ended that game with a bang. But that was what we had. That was what we had to do. We did everything we could in the time we had.
The funny thing is that even though we didn't do that sort of finale in Halo 2, that the final cinematic that you're about to see after the credits is the same as it would have been. You know, even at the end of Halo 2, we never planned for the Master Chief to make good on his promise to Cortana to come back and get her. So we were always going to leave the Chief and the Cortana apart.
Well, that could get us into some very sensitive areas, like the Great Grunt Apocalypse.
Well, that wasn't so much Jason going in and rewriting the grunt lines that I recorded as Jason going in and stabbing the 2 of us in the heart.
Oh God!
No. Jason came in and said, "We have to fix the grunt."
Oh my God!
Because we had Dopey Grunt.
Oh,
Dopey Grunt. Well, play me all the permutations in that category, so I would. Yeah, we'll just cut 1, 2, 3, and 4. Oh, yeah, no, at 5 and 6, and just cut the whole category. And that's how that happened.
2401 Penitent Tangent.
Yes.
He came up with that. That's genius.
John Michael Higgins. He was
I think you might have peaked. I think remember 49 light bulb and
7 broken iPod.
Yeah.
Those were good.
49 light bulb was my favorite thing.
49 light bulb will rise again.
Do you know I have 343 on my license plate? I showed you that, right?
What? Just out of
Oh, great.
totally random?
You just told all the fans your license plate.
No, they had a stack of plates in the back, and the nice
Marty, why'd
woman.
you fade the music right here?
Right there was the marketing people, so bang, music goes down.
We love you, Cameron.
Just kidding.
Don't let the grind you down, Marty.
Nice lady at the DMV actually went back to the whole stack of license plates that she had and found 343 for me.
Huh.
I didn't get to choose the 3 letters.
Again, Marty, my favorite piece right here. I mean, by the time people are listening to this, they'll know the answer to this, but
What?
Is this coming back for Halo 3, this piece?
Probably, yes.
Yeah?
I think because believe it or not, this in the end credits is the only time you hear it this way. In Halo 2. You hear a snippet of it in one of the cutscenes, but that's about it.
I recognize so many of those testers' names from reading bugs.
A lot of these
one
people,
from Vincent.
A lot of these people now are like
Who was your
full-time
nemesis?
Bungies.
You had a nemesis in Halo 2, the bug nemesis. I forgot who it was.
Oh, really? I don't know. I don't remember. I don't
you
remember a
randomly
lot.
got your nemesis who kept assigning bugs.
I think I was friends with all those guys.
Oh, yeah.
I just thought of a couple things I'll have to say after we turn off the mics.
You should say it. Get it out. Get it out now.
Actually, I'm afraid I can't do that, Mark.
Okay.
But for as much as we cut stuff from this game, I gotta say that I love this little final post-credit sequence.
Yes. You know, as much as we cut stuff from this game, I still love the game.
That's good.
Amen, brother.
All right, what does Jason say here?
I think
What
I was
again?
also
Missed it
doing
again?
stuff.
Oh, yeah, doing stuff. That's all the people talking to their families here. This is so nice. Frank, what's...
I think somebody has slipped into a meat for dinner coma.
Yeah.
Which, Marty, you mean?
Yeah.
Marcy, Allie, Christy, all my love. Okay, good. But I didn't say last crunch. I knew better at this point.
Clearly, we'll have to keep the mics on after this so we can say some interesting things
Yeah,
that
I
Jim
know.
could put on over the top.
Nobody's listening to us at this point. Trust me.
Is it over?
It's over, of course, Joe. We wouldn't have another
Characteristic,
cinematic,
trademark,
would we?
Staten O'Donnell Black.
Oh, this time with no actual, just sound effects. And then spook.
This is going to be the last level I've been waiting for. And everybody picks their controller.
Yeah, okay, now I finally get to play. Yeah. Master Chief back.
Yeah, I guess that is kind of the downside with post-credit cinematics.
That was classic, Joe. You're right at the end. You're like, but for all we cut, and I thought you were going to say something like positive. But for all we cut, I really, this, I do like this thing that happens after the credits. What a oh my God.
Cool under pressure.
Here we go.
She's our girl.
Shoot.
Oh. You gotta love her. Oh, wait, this is spooky. This is scary.
Huh?
Ooh.
What will happen?
Halo 3.